This short video is on how to create a literature focus unit. Starts with a definition. It's teaching centered around one book or one story. It can be in a reading class, or it can be as part of a science or social studies class. You can create a literature focus unit on one book, many books by the same author, books of a similar genre, or books on a similar topic. But for this video, the focus is going to be creating a literature focus unit based on one book. In that sense, it's very much like literature-based reading instruction. Ideally, the literature focus unit is beyond curriculum, meaning that a creative and intelligent teacher can use that one book to teach science, social studies, grammar. It can be one big ball of learning. You look for concepts within that story to create little mini lessons. As I said, you want to use a trade book ideally. A trade book is a book with chapters in it. You could, if you wanted to, kindergarten, first grade, use a series of picture books, but a trade book is ideal, a chapter book. As far as the particulars, the duration, how long should a literature focus unit go? Generally, 1 to 2 weeks is about the average, no more than 4 weeks in duration. Students generally read one chapter a day. What about skills, you ask? Well, you are still teaching a list of skills, but they are taught in mini lessons, either before or after you enjoy each story. You can have a scope and sequence that tells you exactly what skills to teach, or you could go to, for example, the Minnesota Department of Education has academic standards. You can go there and it shows you exactly the goal and then specific standards or things to teach related to each goal or standard. So you could easily teach these within the context of a literature focus unit. In the same way, vocabulary expansion. That's kind of the purpose. And here are standards you could easily teach within the context of that real enjoyable book. So yes, even though you're doing a literature-based approach or literature focus unit, you can teach specific skills and teach them explicitly. So here are the steps. Step number 1, find a good book. If you enjoy it, chances are your students will enjoy it. And there are many good books that I, as a 52-year-old man, young adult literature, and even 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, still enjoy. A good story, a good plot is beyond age level. Read the book. As you read the book, start thinking about related lessons or activities. If you're going to teach across the curriculum, you might have to do some research to get some information. For example, if I was using Bridge to Terabithia and I wanted to teach about history, I would have to get some information related to that period of time. So if you are using, and not everyone does, but using it as a cross-curricular mechanism or vehicle, then you'd have to go out and get some information to create little mini units on science or social studies or other things. Step number 4, create activities to go with each chapter. You have some pre-reading, but most post-reading activities. This is where you incorporate art and drama and Bloom's taxonomy with the action words and Sternberg's triarctic theory and Gardner's ideas of multiple intelligence and my thinking skills. All right? So when you create this focus unit, generally you have for each chapter a summary, anywhere from about 1 paragraph. And then you have a list of 3 to 5 activities to go with each chapter. That is, so you pick this up the next year, you know exactly what's in that chapter, and you have some ideas of different activities that you can use with each chapter. As you go along, you get more and more of these literature focus units. Step 5, decide on an approach and a reading schedule. You want to create a very flexible outline for yourself about when you'll be reading each chapter and the activities to go with each chapter. Number 6, generally you want to schedule 1 chapter a day. You don't want to frustrate your slower readers. So you may want to, some strategies for lower level readers, have an outline or chapters on tape, and I'll get to that in just a minute. You want to use lots of small group activities as pre- and post-reading activities. Talk and social interaction are an important part of any literacy activity, but as well, it helps keep lower-level readers up with the story. Even though they may not have read or comprehended all of it, it keeps them engaged and helps keep them up on key events that happen in that chapter. So, social interactions, use them both as pre- and post-reading activities. It enhances the story and the understanding and helps lower-level readers fill in some of the gaps. And finally, you want to differentiate for high and low-level readers. For lower-level readers, you want to have books on tape, as I said, or use group read, which is a specific activity, or create an outline or a web of the chapters to give them some structure. Now, the question, do you let students read ahead, or do you say stop at chapter 8 so everyone is at the same place? This is up to you to decide. My own thoughts is if a kid is enjoying a book, I hate to put a damper on it. I may have other books by the same author, the same genre or topic for that child to read if he or she finishes. But I do not want to simply make more work for that faster reader. That is, if they are reading extra books, if I allowed them to go ahead and read these extra books, I do not want to create more work. The goal is to read and enjoy, so I don't hold them accountable for information found in that story. All right, couple of quick examples of activities that you can use as post-reading for each chapter. You could have rate the character traits. Here's the characters, the traits, the rated. Simple idea. Character maps, character, adjective, demonstrates, examples of that adjective. Simple. Person chart. Person, like, don't like, good at, not good at, adopt and adapt. A T-chart to compare. My unfortunate incidences, Lyra's unfortunate. All right? Just gets them making personal connections. Comparograph. Me to these different characters. Attribute chart. Characters, attributes, do they have it? Analyzing story parts. Important or interesting events found in each section of the chapter or the story. A story map is a pre-reading activity. This is something I might give a lower level reader before reading the chapter so they can see the structure. And the plot profile, things that happen in the story, you rate them from scary to not scary, from good to bad, fortunate to unfortunate. It doesn't matter what criteria that you use, simply that they are interacting with ideas in the story. And that is it. Simple tips, creating a literature focus unit. You can find these and a whole bunch of other ideas in my book, Teaching Reading and Writing.